Hi friends, my name is Michelle Renee, but you can call me Giggles. Obviously, you know this guy, he's...
Hi, I'm Brandon, still playing King Arthur.
Yeah, and I'm the Lady of the Lake, and in the back we have Steven, who's sleeping.
I'm not quite sleeping.
Ah! We're going to be answering the questions that you guys have asked me for my 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much again for that. Really appreciate it. It's awesome. I haven't seen these questions yet. I had a friend organize them, so whatever you hear, it may or not be awkward, but they're asking the questions for me, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, not yet sleeping, Steven. Okay, Brandon, go ahead and hit me with your first question.
All right, Shaun of the Dead asks, I really love that username, by the way, it's spelled really cleverly. When trying reading lines, whether it be for characters or when you are reading your creepypastas, how do you, I suppose, get in the mood for it? Or maybe even, like when you read or do a voice, I guess, do you pick the voice or tone, sorry, I'm losing my place. I guess, how do you, there it is. I guess, how do you pick the voice or tone for your readings?
So there's kind of like two questions in there?
There's quite a few questions in there. So,
how do I get into...
Yeah, when you reading lines...
Yes.
Whether it be for characters or creepypasta, so acting or your creepypastas, how do you get into the mood?
I get into the mood, I think, oh man, like the mood to do it, I sit down and I get my microphone and then I go, oh, there's a microphone in front of my face, and then I get really excited and I just go.
Alright. Second question off that same one would be, how do you pick the voice or tone for readings or acting?
Oh, I love this question. I read the character a little bit. Like, what I do is I just start recording anyways, even if I don't really have an idea of what the character is, because you never know if it'll end up working or if there's a take you like. So I'll be reading for a character for anything, an audition or a creepypasta, and then, like, I'll be like, oh, this character kind of says this, like, they have this intention or this idea, or maybe they're a little dopey sounding, and then I just kind of create the voice around how the author has written them, or at least how I perceive how the author has written them. So, yeah, that's how I get into reading for that.
Do you want to take the next one, Steven, or are you taking a nap still?
It's also opening night as this video is being filmed, and I very much like a silly person promised this Q&A tomorrow, which tomorrow is Friday. So opening night will have already happened. Sorry, go ahead, Steven.
Do we want to... the next one's a multi-part question. Do we want to wait for that towards the end?
Alright, question from Fuzzums McFuzzface.
They comment
I like
on
that.
all
That's
my
creative.
videos. I love them.
Thank you for your constant comments. She appreciates it. And I can't talk right now. Alright, they ask, name a play you still want to be in and the character you'd want to be in that play.
There's so many. Just because we were gonna do this over the summer, but now we're doing something else over the summer, I still really want to be Joanna in Sweeney Todd, but instead we're doing Little Shop this summer, and I really want to be Audrey in that. They're both dream roles, so.
Missy Drip asks, congrats on 4,000. Here's my question. What's one thing you love and one thing you hate when it comes to theater or voice work?
Ooh, okay. A thing that I love about theater, I like that you can experience theater multiple times throughout the process. I really love living in the character's shoes for a couple of shows, a few shows, you know, like a month or 3 weeks or whatever. Or if you're going professional, which is the dream, like a whole year sometimes. I think that's amazing. And like, I don't know, theater, I'm so passionate about that. I'd choose that form of acting over any other because you experience it, and each performance is different. It's always different no matter what. And so that's and I guess there's not a lot that I really hate about theater. I think what I don't like is, I wouldn't say I hate this, but I really don't like it. So I'm relatively new to theater. I really only have been doing it since I was like 18. And there's people that I've taken acting classes with that have done it since they were like kids and stuff, and they don't take it seriously. You know, and this is from a person who's been the understudy for her first 2 musicals. And so there are people who get really, really great parts and they don't take it seriously. They're just like, yeah, and they, you know, they don't put effort in it. They're not ready when they need to be. That's pretty much, people like that are like the thing that I dislike most about theater, and that's pretty much it. And for voiceover work, I love I just love, oh my gosh, the voices that can come into voiceover work. I know that sounds really small, but like when you're doing stuff in front of a microphone, there are certain things that you can do with your voice that you probably shouldn't do for theater, or rather that you can't do as much for theater. And I think that's a really fun experience. And I think the only thing I really hate about voiceover work is that you can't like do it in real time with other actors. They did that with Batman though, with Batman the animated series, where they had the guy who voiced Batman. I think his name was Ken Page, if I might not be right on that. And Mark
He's in,
Hamill.
like, everything.
Was it Ken Page though, or was it like Kevin? Because I keep mixing up the voice actor for Batman. But they had them in two opposite rooms facing each other, reading and playing off of each other in real time, and that's very rare when it comes to voice acting. So the one thing I hate about voice acting is that you regularly don't interact with other actors in real time.
BGTX asks you, love the stuff you did with MCP.
MCP, Mr. Creepypasta.
Any more things? Any more collabs planned?
Yes, actually, he literally just asked me to do something last night, or maybe he sent that 2 days ago and I just saw it last night because we've been busy. So yeah, in all honesty, I don't know the title of this one. He just said, hey, you were in this story before and they made another part. Do you want to do a cameo even though your character died in the last one? And I was like, yeah, sure. And also, I'm really hoping that we pick up the Madison series. For those of you guys would stink and love that. It's supposed to be a creepypasta, but it's a teenage girl and she's like really stupid, and it's me. He has me be her, and she's like, oh my gosh, like he was bleeding all over the place and I didn't know what to do. It got all over the carpet, you know, it's that kind of thing. So the author of that, Unsettling Stories, like hasn't given any more signs of being able to do that, but MCP keeps saying, hey, if we keep nudging him. So there's that. And then recently I've been doing the series that a lot of people don't know that this is the name of the series, but I think it is. It's My Name is Lily Madwhip and then whatever the title you guys see. There's a lot more parts to that story. It's a little girl that sees things, and it's creepy and crazy. I play her kind of silly, but I still try to be respectful to the tone. So I think there's definitely more of those coming out. I'm excited for those. I just love the characters he picks for me.
Gaming Objective asks, is there not double-sided, awesome. Gaming Objective asks, hey Michelle, it's Dan from San Japan.
Hi, Dan!
Who was using a crutch last year after I hurt my foot. It's better now. Anyway, I wanted to ask if you and or everyone else will be making San Japan an annual weekend trip, as it's so fun to hang out with you guys.
What's that?
Vincent said, so long as it's profitable, LOL. And Katie said, maybe. Congrats on the 4,000 subscribers. I'm about to hit 2,000 myself.
Oh, congratulations! San Japan, Steven is, if you've heard of Comic-Con, that is a nerd convention, and San Japan happens to be the biggest kind of that in Texas.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I've done those for the past couple years. I think we're trying to make it an annual thing. I don't think like everything's set in stone, because the first year that we did that was, I believe it was right after Heather's, so it was like 2017. There was like a lot of us, and then last year right after Clue, I keep doing a musical and then going to a con, there were still a lot of us, but not as much as the year before. So I think the plan is to try to make it an annual thing. I know Vincent Vinacava is gonna be there every year because he's all about making that moolah. And Katie, I don't know. Katie and I want to do a gender bent cosplay of Freddy versus Jason. So I'm really hoping that it's so funny because she's so tall and I'm so short, and that's just like Jason and Freddy.
Oh yeah.
But so I think she's gonna go this year, and of course MCP and his wife and a bunch of other people are gonna be there, and I'm trying to go. If you want to give some
I have a question.
donations, that would be appreciated, and that would help me get there. So yeah. Yes, Steven.
MCP.
Mr. Creepypasta.
Is his wife known as Mrs. Creepypasta?
No, she funny story about that. They like have their like love story thing like out on the internet because you know they got married, and he did this whole thing for her. It was very cute. But she was one of his fans at some point, And then he gave her the nickname Rainbow because she had a bunch of colors in her hair. And he said, you should try narrating. And she was like, okay. And so she became a narrator. She called herself Creepy Rainbow Pasta. And so everybody knew her as Rainbow, or a lot of us who know her personally call her Bo. And so she doesn't do narrating that much anymore, but she does more cosplays, and she's his wifey. Very cute. Very cute.
It's a wifey wife.
All right, Jerry the cartoonist. Hey, congratulations on all your success.
Thank
You and
you.
your friends bounce off of each other so well and are very fun to watch.
Thank you.
I'm sure he's not talking about me.
No.
I believe you'll get to that 5,000 mark real soon. I hope I'm not too late to ask a question or two. Number 1. So they make Broadway shows out of the weirdest things. For example, SpongeBob. But sometimes
I was
that
just
actually
thinking
turn out okay. I know, I was too. That's hilarious. What, in your opinion, would be a strange adaptation for Broadway that actually might turn out well? Honestly, I would like to see a Courage the Cowardly Dog musical. I don't necessarily think it'll turn out well, but it'll be interesting to watch.
That's so funny you say that, Jerry, because like literally I've had this idea for a couple of years where it is a Courage the Cowardly Dog musical.
Wait, did we talk about that during
Yeah,
the clue?
yeah, we talked about it. I've like literally, but it's like I would present it in one of those ways where you don't know it's about courage until like the very end, and then something clicks, and you're like, oh, this whole thing was courage. So that's really funny you say that, because I've been rolling that around in my head for years, and I just haven't started writing it because I'm lazy.
Do it.
But I should. So the question is, what would be a really weird musical adaptation?
That might turn out well.
Oh, that might turn out well. A weird one? Oh my gosh. I don't Death Becomes Her.
Wait, isn't that already a thing?
No.
Well, I mean, they did it at the Rockwell. That doesn't really count, though, because it's not on Broadway.
Wait, they did? There is one?
There's a stage adaptation of Death Becomes Her?
Is it a musical?
Well, it's at the Rockwell. It was at the Rockwell. It's like a dinner theater.
But is it a musical?
Mhm.
I can't say that now because it obviously exists.
Someone did it.
Well, and then there's like the weird ones where like you'd think that Clueless would be a good musical, but they made it a jukebox musical, and I'm not a fan of that. And Dove Cameron was Cher, and I don't know how I feel about that in total.
I like Dove Cameron.
I like her too, but I don't know. Just I saw the trailers for Clueless as a Broadway musical, and I was like, I feel like they put more into the costumes than anything else, which is fine.
Which makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah, but still. Oh my gosh, a weird one. I can't say Beetlejuice because it's already happening. Corpse Bride, actually, because I think Corpse Bride was a good movie. I don't think it's Tim Burton's best movie, nor is it like super, super spectacular. But I think with the right people behind it, it would be a really weird choice, and it would somehow turn out magical. Either that or Edward Scissorhands, if that doesn't exist. I would
playing
kill
at the
to see.
Rockwell right now, I think.
That is. How do you figure these things out? I know
Because
about
the
all
Rockwell
this
has like
stuff.
all these kinds of shows. Like,
Well, isn't that a Broadway launching platform, kind of?
Is it?
Don't people start there and then go...
possibly. I mean, everything that they do is always called the unauthorized parody of.
Oh, I saw their
that's
one
how
for
they-
Scream, and I didn't like it because I liked this other person's version of Scream the musical that didn't take off, and that looked really good. I was gonna be all over that crap.
Okay, so part 2 to this question.
Yes.
Are you going to continue the Madison series? For the longest time, I didn't even know that was you.
I just talked about this earlier. I hope so. That is me, by the way. Oh my gosh, she's by far one of my favorite characters to be on Spike's channel. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. It's all up to Unsettling Stories. He's the author. Like, it's so great because I follow him on Instagram, and he posts like all these pictures of like food, and he's like, I made this new linguine, or this new kind of pasta thing. And there's like an inside joke in the Madison series where like she gives birth to like this alien creature, and it looks like fettuccine. And so he makes a bunch of pasta dishes. So in an effort last year to get him to continue, I'd comment like, where's my fettuccine? Where's my fettuccine? Where's my fettuccine? And he would just kind of like my comment. So I think it's amiable, but I feel like I think he's doing life right now. So I have no idea when Madison's going to pick up, but I want it just as much as you guys.
You should ask him for vermicelli.
He does make vermicelli. He makes all the pasta except fettuccine.
Number 3. Did you ever get around to watching That Guy That Didn't Like Musicals?
No, I've been really busy with Spamalot. I really want to because I love Star Kid, but I haven't yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a Star Kid show?
It's a Star Kid show.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah.
Twisted was great.
Twisted was the best.
Number 4. How excited are you for scary stories to tell in the dark? This question has nothing to do with anything. Feel free to ignore it. I'm just a nerd for this kind of thing.
No, that's fine. That's one where I'd take up your offer to go to the movies because that hits the nostalgia thing
I hope
for me.
we get it. I mean, we show more scary movies at Westlake.
Then yes. Well, I loved scary stories to tell in the dark when I was a kid. That was like the thing that ignited my love for horror and like the illustrations. And I don't know if you guys have read it, but they're like these terrifying illustrations that you should never put in a kid book.
Yeah.
But it's a book for kids.
The spider.
Yeah. No.
I looked through it as a kid.
Yeah, you looked through. You didn't read it?
No. I looked through it before I could read it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like as a 4-year-old.
There's 4. That's way too young.
He's
well,
young.
There's a bad story that I have yet to tell you guys. I can't remember if I told you. Where I wanted revenge on the girl who was bullying me, and we were both like 9, and she hated that book, but I loved it. So I actually had the thought to rip out a page of one of those terrifying illustrations, and I actually duct taped it to the next page of her math book that we were opening up to the next day. And so our teacher was like, turn to page 394, and she goes for it, and she was like, ah! And she freaked out, pushed the book away, and just started crying, and then I got busted because they were like, who checked out that book? And I wrote my name. I think it was before.
Okay.
It was all downhill from there.
All right. Meko 5 asks a multi-part question here. Question 1, what was your very first creepypasta that you read or narrated?
Ooh. Read or narrated? I'm gonna go with, I can't remember the first one I like read, so I'll go with narrated because I think I have an idea. I narrated this one that I wrote first. Because I didn't know I didn't know where to like find good creepypastas where like I could contact the owners and ask for permission to narrate them, so I wrote my own. Oh, I remember. So this girl right here on my shirt. Sorry, Brandon, we're best friends. Giggles. I wrote a story introducing her. It was a terrible story. It was like the worst thing I've ever written, and it was all in rhyme. And that was like when Mr. Creepypasta and but it was just executed so poorly because I didn't know. I was like 16 and I didn't know how to write anything. And so I contacted Mr. Creepypasta when our friendship was like just budding, and I was like, hey, you said you like my voice and that I should try narrations. Well, I'm taking up your suggestion. Want to be in my first one? And he was like, yeah. So he was like the victim in it. He's like the guy who comes into the casino and she gives him the whole spiel over like, if you lose a game against me, I take your existence because I want to be real. And he was like, oh, no way, Jose, because it was all in rhyme. So that's technically the first creepypasta I ever narrated, but I think the first real one was something about, oh my gosh, not scissors under the pillow. It was, I think the first like really popular one I ever narrated was Olive. It's about a little girl and her imaginary friend named Olive, and she has a problem with leaking. They don't know creepypastas. Yeah.
Well, I know a few creepypastas.
Like what, Slender Man?
No, like
That's
Adagio.
creepypasta?
Like which one?
Adagio?
I haven't heard of that one.
Look it up, it's a fun one.
Okay. The
All right.
master.
Question 2 from Meko 5 is,
Yes.
or Mekos, maybe it's supposed to be an S. References
I think
to
it's
the show.
Meko 5.
Meko 5. Question 2, page 35. Now that you're in Spamalot and we're opening, which is your favorite moment in the play? Or the most you look forward to?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. That exact thing was running through my mind because as we're filming, tonight is opening. By the time this video is posted, it'll have happened last night. There we go. Diction.
What did you do to die today?
On the way here, I was like sobbing. I was like happy crying and Not Yet Dead was playing. I'm really excited specifically for the audience to see run away just because there's so many things happening. And I think that that'll be really fun. But with me specifically, I'm excited for them to see Knights of the Round Table because I think that's pretty funny. I think there's awesome vocals in there. And like specifically with me, but also everybody else too. Just I'm thinking about what you're trying to ask. And so with me, I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for Diva's Lament because I have that big red robe thing, and that's really fun.
All right, the next two they split up, but I'm going to ask him as one.
Okay.
Who is your biggest inspiration? And 4, was there a defining moment when you decided to follow your career in voice acting, singing, and etc.?
Oh my gosh, inspiration. I feel like those two are a little separate for me. One of my bigger inspirations is C.S. Lewis, and then Lewis Carroll, and then Roald Dahl, if I'm saying his name right. I just think they're great at storytelling, and obviously they're doing something right because their works keep getting adapted. And I think they're timeless and will continue to be shown to the next generation throughout the years. So that they're probably, and Victor Hugo's up there. They're probably my bigger inspirations because the dream is to like leave an impact on the world in a story or something that people will always remember. And then, sorry, what's the next part of the question?
Question 4 was there a defining moment to when you decided to follow your career in voice acting and singing?
Oh, was there? There was a couple. I think Wicked started it with me because I saw Wicked when I was 16, and my friend was like, out of all the other girls in our Bible study, I asked you because I didn't think you'd be above it. And I was like, oh boy, and I was really excited. I wanted to be Glinda. Phantom pushed me because I wanted to be Christine. I don't think that'll ever happen, but she got me into trying the acting thing. But I think the biggest thing that really made me think, you know, maybe I can do this is when I started getting paid for voice acting, and I had like a handful of things over the next couple years. I started getting paid for voice acting in early 2016, and it's not super consistent, but every now and then I'll get like a really big one, and it's like, maybe I can do this. So, yeah.
Last question from Echo 5 is, if you could choose only 5 foods to eat for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Shake and bake. And salmon, because I love salmon.
You shake, bake, salmon.
Yeah.
That's 2. That's 2.
Yeah.
Are you going to put a little graphic?
Sure, just not. I just wanted you to do this and there will be nothing there. Yeah. So salmon, and then shake and bake was the first one. Uncle Ben's rice. You can't have any of this without Uncle Ben's rice. I cooked it this morning for lunch with the shake and bake. Turkey. I love Thanksgiving turkey. And there's a little diner called Henry's, and I love their steak fries.
Henry's steak fries.
Yes, specifically Henry's steak fries. And is that 5?
It might be more than 5. I wasn't keeping count,
No,
to
it
be
was
honest.
shake and bake salmon, Uncle Ben's rice, turkey, yes, and then fries.
You should have put the little graphic up. We would have been able to tell.
I wanted you to look silly or look like an imbecile just by going like this and nothing's there.
I'll be here all week. We're out of
that all the
questions. That's all the
questions?
questions we have.
Well, thank you guys so much for asking me. Steven is asleep.
Oh, shh. Don't wake him up.
I'm not quite sleeping.
He is not yet sleeping. Well, thank you guys so much for asking me your questions, and thank you so much again for 4K subs. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. See you in the next video. Bye!